We're excited to tell you about some of the things that are coming up this year, but also get your feedback. But more importantly, I think we're excited for the second part of the meeting, where we're going to break out into groups and really just talk about some of the things that are coming up in many ways in all of our plates for the next year or so. How do we re-engage the people who haven't been crazy about Zoom and get them back? What are some of the ways that our service projects and our educational outreach and those things have changed? So this is going to be our 2022 kickoff. We also want to tell you about the Search for Excellence and a lot of the fun stuff that's coming up. So this is going to be a little bit of the work group kind of bouncing around and all taking turns sharing with you this morning. And then, of course, we want to get you involved in the later part of the visit. And so one thing that I'm not sure if we've done very lately is kind of let some of our team that's going to be talking introduce themselves, especially our volunteer members who you may see a little bit less. So I'm just going to let them kind of introduce themselves and say hello this morning. Jenny, you want to kick us off?
I'll have to unmute myself to do that. And good morning, everybody. This is Jenny Fletcher, and I'm with Shelby County. I'm also your regional representative for the Western region, and we'd like to welcome you to our balmy weather that we've got today.
Sheila?
Good morning. I'm Sheila McNeely, and I am from Knox County, and I am the regional representative for East Tennessee. And it's just good to see everybody, and I can't wait to hear what we've got planned. I know some of the secrets, but I can't wait to hear the rest of it this morning.
Hey, I'm Celeste Scott. I'm the Hort agent over here in the Western region in Madison County. So good to see everybody this morning.
Hey, I'm Anna Duncan in Coffee County in Central region of Tennessee. Glad to see Annette on here from my group. So thanks for being here, y'all.
Hey guys, I'm Evangeline James in the Eastern region of Bradley County. I'm one of the 2 A&R agents in our office and glad to be here this morning. And also shout out to John Yarnett and Ron Arnett. Good to have you guys on, and any other Master Guards from Bradley County who might be on who I can't yet see in the screen.
I'm Melody Rose. I'm in East Tennessee in Greene County. I'm looking forward to the year. We got a lot of great things in store, and it's just exciting to know we're going to be reconvening in person in a lot of different functions across the state this year. So looking forward to that and interacting more. And shout out to the big spring Master Gardeners on here.
So this is our January kickoff visit. Now, for all of you who are on here, I know that we have a mix. I've been looking at names, of course, a lot of folks that I know, but I also know that we have some new leaders that are coming on board, and we're really excited to work with you all in your local groups. Right now in the state of Tennessee, we have about 42, 43 different counties that have programs, which represents way over half of the 95 counties that we have in Tennessee. We have over 2,600 active volunteers, and numbers are still kind of adding up, but we had about 160,000 service hours last year, which was a big bump from our 2020 kind of pandemic number of 125,000. So it's really good to see, even while keeping safe, everybody was able to jump back in and get some amazing things done in your counties last year. So we even had some in-person outdoor events last year, a whole new statewide.
Well, I don't know what I'm going to cook tomorrow.
And lots of adventures. So when we think about 2022 and where we're going right now, we're really excited. I know for some of you in Knox County and Shelby County and some of our other folks are already in the middle of intern training. Many of us who are doing the statewide training are kicking off next week. So we're really excited about focusing on efficiencies, sharing some of those lectures, but making sure that you get together with people in your county for connectivity for intern trainings. We're looking forward to what will, fingers crossed, be a slightly more normal conference schedule. We may even see each other indoors if all goes well. And just like we're kicking off this morning, we have some new statewide digital efforts that we're going to be doing on Fridays, but we also want to make sure that we provide enough space in all of our calendars to invest and work in local communities. So that's kind of our plan for this year. As far as some kind of baseline updates, we have a new Master Gardener website. And this is the link, and it has a lot of the things that we're going to be sharing. If you want to, look up the search for excellence, sign up for the email reminders, all those sorts of things are on this new website. And shout out to our Hamilton County friends. That is the McCoy Farm and Garden Wildflower Butterfly Way Station Search for Excellence Award-winning project right there on the front page. We'll talk about Search for Excellence here in a little bit. I also want to let Melody tell you a little bit about our UT Hort family and some of the fun stuff that we put together for social media for everybody.
Okay, thanks, Natalie. So, as you know, a couple of years ago, our team was working really diligently on Facebook primarily. Just to let you know, we also do have an Instagram account. But we've decided for this year that we're going to focus on Instagram and on Facebook, and you see those posts coming out every day. But the biggest thing is just about our rebranding. So this Facebook page was formerly Tennessee Extension Master Gardener page. It's been in existence a long time. So, we had changed the name even 2 years ago when we launched this effort. But in the spirit of maintaining consistency with all of our programs, we have changed that page name to UT Hort. So you are still getting those daily feeds every single day coming from the state team on everything from turf to ornamentals, fruits and veggies. We're spotlighting the master gardeners one day a week. We're spotlighting our people and then events and things like that are coming up. So if you haven't gone to like that page yet, make sure you do. Again, it's UT Hort, so you won't find us under the old name. But again, your team is working really diligently on some of those social media efforts. So you're going to see a lot more coming from that this year.
And one other note about that Facebook, we still have a Facebook group, which is a discussion entitled Tennessee Master Gardener Discussion.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. And so this page is where the content and the links get pushed out from. And then the discussion group is open to everybody for a lot of those fun conversations and visits and ID and all those. And that is absolutely still occurring. I don't know if you want to tell them about the posts that their agents get, but that might be something good for Facebook managers and Master Gardener groups to know.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So another component of this is, of course, every day there's a different post that post out, daily. But I'm taking those and putting those in a spreadsheet, and we're sending those to your county coordinators. And so if you would like to have those, make sure you check with your county coordinator. You can upload those to your own personal Facebook pages. That's what I'm doing in Greene County. So the same post that you're seeing on UT Hort every day is going out on the Greene County Extension page. It's also going out on the Big Spring Master Gardener page. So there's lots of different ways that you can upload this. You don't have to use every day. We're actually only doing 4 days a week out of the 7 that we're sharing with your county coordinator. But it's a great way to network from your own personal page, or you can actually just go to UT Hort and share that to your page. So there's multiple ways to do that to get the information out, because if you've seen those posts, you know that we're trying to push some of our in-house publications. We're sending you links to pretty cool things. I think just this week, the turf application went out, so you can access that. So we're trying to share with you a lot of cool resources that can be beneficial not only to your master gardener groups, but also the clientele for which you serve in the county. And to kind of go along with that too, you notice YouTube is up there at the top as well. So YouTube is also a part of that consistent rebranding. That too is going to be UT Hort. And so that, we're also pushing out those videos and sharing those with you as well through this UT Hort social media outlet. So if you have questions about that, I would ask your county coordinator because we are sending those to them at the first of every month. So you'll have access to those.
And I just put the Facebook link in the chat box, so y'all have access to that. Oh yeah, there's a question about posting the webinars and things like that on that group. Well, we do have a little bit of a challenge with sharing Zooms with passwords that are on Facebook. So typically what we do is send that out via email, but you can find some of the calendar invites and things like that on uthort.com for a lot of our Friday sessions. All right, Melody, this is sort of you and me too. And if Andrea or Chris or Sullivan County folks are on there, you can find your microphone button too. We'll invite you to jump in and share. So we are really looking forward in June to seeing y'all for what will be take 2 of our Northeast Tennessee hosted Master Gardener conference. And so it is going to kick off on a Thursday afternoon and evening, and it's going to be at Fays Mountain Park, which is actually a city-owned park outside of Kingsport, and they have a lot of fun stuff. There'll be a barge ride, there's reptiles. We won't talk about the snakes, Melody. There are wolves there on premises. And that's where we're going to have our opening ceremony in the outdoor amphitheater. We're going to give out the Search for Excellence Awards. We're going to finish off our goose chase. And then Friday and Saturday are going to be the more main conference days. And they're going to be at the Ron Ramsey Ag Center, which is the Sullivan County Extension facility. So Melody, do you want to tell them a little bit about what's going on Friday and Saturday?
Yeah.
And the food. Talk about the food.
Oh yeah, I'm kind of excited about this, y'all, because many of you that know me know that I'm an Appalachian girl. So this is kind of where we're theming this conference. And the cool thing is that the food that you're going to be eating on that Friday is going to be primarily locally sourced. Some of it's going to be coming out of some of our trial gardens in Greene County. But our Master Gardener Association is just going to be cooking up some local Appalachian fare. So you're going to get to have a sampling of that throughout the day on Friday. So we're pretty stoked about that. Also, the day before, can I talk about pre-conference there too? Because we're going to focus on Appalachian kind of herbal sessions. So we'll be doing like plants for dye, some hands-on type things, all kinds of really cool stuff. You're going to see that coming out pretty soon. So kind of maybe reserve that Thursday afternoon too, because that's going to be a lot of fun. We'll have fly fishing available, some pre-conference activities revolving around herbs. I can't remember what all there is, but it's going to be a lot of fun. And then we are going to conclude this entire conference up at Roan Mountain State Park. We're actually going to go through with the park ranger and do some naturalist-like sessions. High top, one of the highest peaks in the state. So that's going to be really cool. It is the weekend before the Rhododendron Festival at Roan Mountain. So if you're not familiar with that, make sure you Google that. It's just absolutely amazing. All of our native species will be bursting out in color. You will have a 360-degree view from atop the mountain. If it's a curvy road. So y'all, if you get motion sickness, I'm telling you now, go ahead and start buying the Dramamine, but it's well worth it when you stand atop up there and see some of the highest mountains in the eastern United States. It's really cool.
All right. So we actually have, I think, a planning visit in Sullivan County next Thursday or something like that. We'll finalize the registration and we look forward to getting that out probably the end of next week or the early part of the next week. Are there any Sullivan County folks that want to jump on and give a shout out?
Natalie, this is Karen Rowell.
Oh, good. So the president is Karen Rowell. She's on here right now.
And I just want to add to what you and Melody have said. I think we're going to have a really nice conference. We're hoping that we get a break on all the different Greek letters of viruses, and that I think people will enjoy it. You're going to get to see a sort of an interesting view of East Tennessee and the mountains up here and some of the Appalachian things that are unique to the Appalachian culture. As some people may know, the Appalachian culture has been studied by sociologists for years because it's sort of been an isolated laboratory of a evolution of the Scotch-Irish migration to the United States. And so you get to see some things that are unique to East Tennessee and Western North Carolina that we hope to highlight in the conference and be able to share with people across the state. There's lots of interesting things. I didn't grow up in Appalachia, but it was always an interesting thing 45 years ago when I moved up here to see what a unique microcosm of a community there is here. And so hope everyone gets to come, hope that people enjoy it, and looking forward to having you in East Tennessee.
Yeah, absolutely. So you will learn how to say Appalachia correctly. If you come in saying Appalachia, we'll have that fixed by the time the meeting is over. And I just saw a question in the chat box. We are going to be using MetaView, which is a large, beautiful conference facility, which will be our key hotel. Now, the meetings themselves will mostly be at the Ag Center, but all of our folks will have a room block that they can use at MetaView. All right, so
one more thing. I just want to shout out, because we know that these conferences can't take place without our excellent volunteers. And I'm telling you, the energy and the enthusiasm coming out of that Northeast Tennessee group is just phenomenal. So y'all make sure you come in June. It's just going to be absolutely outstanding.
And it will not be at all an exaggeration to say that they've been planning this for like 5 years. So it'll be really fun to really pull that off and bring it to a great conclusion this summer. Between now and then, we are actually going to get in our Western Region Conference, which is going to be a Friday afternoon and then Saturday, and it's going to be held in Liberty Park. This is a beautiful site in Clarksville, right along the river. And, Roger or Carla, if you guys are on here, you can find your microphone button. And this is going to be a fun combination of ornamental horticulture sessions, some tree sessions. It's actually an arboretum right here at the park that Carla, the agent in there, and one of the volunteers, actually the city forester, so Katie Killebrew. And then on Saturday morning, there are going to be tours to the Southeast Grasslands Initiative site. So you're going to get to hear about the really unique ecology of this area, which is actually some of our native prairies were in this part of the state. And so we're going to build on a lot of those themes, and there'll be a really fun spring event. The next thing that we want to talk to you about is Search for Excellence. And so I'll kind of kick it up, but I'm going to turn the floor over to Jenny really soon and just say that this is kind of our signature opportunity to recognize the amazing service that goes on throughout the state of Tennessee. So these are the Tennessee Search for Excellence Awards, but if y'all have been Master Gardeners for several years, you may already be familiar with the fact that there's also an International Search for Excellence Award. And so many of these same projects can be recognized, and we have very good success over the past few years in being awarded international awards from Hamilton County, from Cumberland County, from Davidson County. We've had good winners. So our statewide awards are given out every 2 years. And so kind of the award time period covers 2 years. So we will hand them out in 2022 for projects that were completed or that took place during the year 2020 and 2021. So essentially, this is a local group application. As project leaders, as officers, you'll kind of work on getting that application ready. Of course, we want you to talk to your coordinator about that. You'll both sign off, the president and the coordinator. And there are 6 individual service project categories, as well as individual and partner awards. Okay, Jenny, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to let you share a little bit more now.
Well, just to let everybody understand that Search for Excellence is actually the vehicle in which we can showcase the effectiveness of the Master Gardeners, the outstanding Master Gardeners that we have in this state. We realize it's a huge undertaking when you create a project and follow it through to completion. When you're able to share your knowledge and enrich other people's lives in the process, you receive much more than you give. Those type of projects need to be rewarded and shared with the rest of our Master Gardeners so that they can recreate maybe something similar to what you've done without having to recreate the wheel. So that gives others the opportunity to develop their own projects through the utilization of shared information to successfully spread our knowledge and educate the general public So that gives us an opportunity to fulfill our mission, and we encourage every Master Gardener group to submit your projects to the Search for Excellence Committee so that we can recognize your accomplishments and that you can share your ideas to allow others to continue to provide education and fulfill our mission on Master Gardeners, leaving the world a better place than we started. So we have shown on the screen, you'll see on the left side are the projects or the categories for the projects. And we've tweaked the names of them. So be sure when you pull down the information from the website that you read the description of each of the categories. Applications are now open, and we encourage you to get started early. It takes a little time to fill out those applications and get them in. The deadline is March the 11th. And we just like to encourage everybody to participate. Natalie?
Yeah, and just so you know what's in the application, I also have these screenshots for you to look at. So remember, this is a max of 3 pages. So, you know, we're not asking for an entire book. You'll be able to just check the project category. And as you know, as Jenny mentioned, we really tried to make sure that these had some good spots for some of the new stuff that you're doing. I know that we have some new great video people, podcasters. So there's some new categories there, as well as reaching new audiences, whether those be elderly, whether they be urban, all kinds of fun things there. So you'll just check the project category, then you'll put in kind of the local information, and then, you know, just tell us about the audience and the goals of the project. So remember, you know, there's word limits on here. And so it's really kind of a clear, straightforward application. This will be a Word file that you can download. I'll put the link in the chat box here as soon as I quit talking the next time. But this is all linked on the front page of the Master Gardener website, and I'll send all this information out to officers as well. In addition to the written application, you can also send in a few supplemental documents if you like, images, advertisements, things like that, but they're not necessary. So this kind of just gives you a little bit of an idea of what all is kind of, you know, being asked. And if you have any questions, myself, Jenny, Suzanne, Alan, who's run this program amazingly for the last few years, is in the process of transitioning and kind of training the next round. So we're really looking forward to carrying out this project into 2022 and see some of the great stuff that's happening. Did I miss anything, Jenny?
I don't think so. Sounds pretty good to me.
Angela, take it away.
Okay, thank you. So I'm just going to kind of briefly go over what is Goose Chase and what was our Hit the Trails event. And this is something we intend to do again in our May month because it seemed to go over really well. So essentially, our Hit the Trails event is a statewide event that we do utilizing the Goose Chase app. And I'll get into that for those of you who are not familiar with Goose Chase or apps in general. But anyways, we started this last year just to kind of basically get together, get outside, learn, and have fun. We're all working real hard and more of a time of isolation with COVID happening, and we wanted an opportunity for our volunteers to get out and to have a healthy, fun competition. So anyways, with this app, basically people go onto the app and there are different challenges that you can do. And these challenges range from taking a photo of a picnic, taking a video of a sunset, getting a shot of a pollinator, a native plant, and they all had different names and categories. And every challenge you did basically gave you more points, and it was split between Central, Western, and Eastern Tennessee. And we also we'll arrange it just as we did last year, to where some of the first challenges are set up to help you get a feel for the app and how to utilize it. So, and with these challenges, it encouraged our members and participants to go to different state parks, different monuments, different locations. And right now also, we want to hear some locations that you might find interesting for us to add to this upcoming Hit the Trails event. So please utilize the chat box if you know of a place. And if you participated last year and you thought, hey, this is a really good spot that could have been on this, or if this is your first time hearing about it, go ahead and use the chat box and let us know some of your favorite spots that you know we could add to one of our geolocations or one of our challenges. But anyways, we're going to do the kickoff the last week of training on May 6th via Zoom, and we're going to announce all the winners on June 9th. So Natalie, I hope I didn't miss anything there, but that's part of the gist. We got a lot of great photos and videos last year. It was really cool to see what everyone put together and had fun doing. So I'm looking forward to this year and seeing a lot of that same stuff happening again.
Yeah, that's perfect. And so, just to reiterate Evangeline's note, the state parks were really fun, and we'll probably have some of those, but I think that if we have publicly accessible demonstration gardens, yes, and places where if they're at a church or someplace where it's harder to be publicly accessible, but if they're a park and someplace that people can go freely, we want to highlight Master Gardener sites for a lot of the stops. And I can kind of imagine that there may be some that kind of lead us across the state as we come into June. There may be some rhododendrons at the end. So I think there will be a lot of fun ways to incorporate this into some of the other activities that we are already doing. Celeste, I changed the title on this to hit our office hours. So I think this one's yours.
Oh, yes. So let's think about all the meetings that we've been having for the past 2 years. When COVID first started, we had Tuesday Hort sessions that were open to the public. We were also meeting with Master Gardeners on Friday, having some leadership development and different fun activities that were just for Master Gardeners. And then last year we held kind of the same format, but we moved those Tuesdays to a Thursday. So we're having Thursday horticulture sessions and less frequent Friday focuses for our Master Gardeners. And we realized that was a heavy load to bear and may not be sustainable for a long period of time. So we've kind of condensed that down. As you all are aware, that we are continuing to have our Friday focuses. We're not meeting every single month of the year, and we're following a similar path for our general horticulture sessions. We are going to have those on Fridays. So not everything is on Friday. You're not having to log in, well, am I supposed to be here on a Tuesday or Thursday or Friday or whatever? Just know all the sessions are on Fridays. And we are calling this series this year our office hours, because the idea behind this is that our work group is going to lead these sessions kind of as a virtual clinic. I guess that would be a good description of it. We're going to highlight questions that are coming into the extension offices at this time of year. And I'm sure that many of you, if you help with a question or a help desk at your extension office, you're going to be familiar with the waves of questions that come in. Like, I'm expecting any day now to start seeing, having folks call me about when they need to do pre-emerge in their lawns for crabgrass, right? So I just know I'm anticipating that coming. So we're using those types of drivers to organize the content that's going to be delivered in these office hours. And we're going to have an interactive place on uthort.com right there on the homepage. It's not there yet, but we'll call that a question portal, where folks can get on there and pop in their questions, right? And then we're going to assess those collection of questions and decide which ones we would like to highlight for these Friday office hours. And we're going to try to keep it pretty even. We don't want to get super heavy and have one entire session on vegetables and one entire session on ornamentals. We want to keep it fresh. We're going to highlight questions in several areas during every office hours that we have. So we're going to answer some turf questions. We're going to answer some edibles, do some ornamental stuff, talk about some sustainable landscape practices that would be timely. So we're going to get a good mix of content every time we're getting together for a Friday office hours visit. This is open again, we encourage you all to participate, right? And invite your friends to come to these Friday office hours, promote these on social media, encourage, if you're helping at the question answer desk there at your office, make sure you tell people, hey, we have this really cool virtual clinic office hours. We're going to do it quarterly. Here's how you can join up. And just really help us get the word out. We'd appreciate that. So we're kind of condensing things down, trying to simplify things, streamline everything. And I think this is a good way to do it. Natalie, you got anything else that I overlooked?
Oh, I think that sounds perfect. So we want to use this as an opportunity to bring together our stakeholders and our volunteers, and we look forward to some fun on Zoom. Who knows? We may get brave and do some Facebook Live co-broadcasts or something. All right. So
I love Facebook Live. I can't deny it.
Yeah. Celeste is our Facebook Live star out in West Tennessee. So in addition to horticulture content that overlaps with our volunteer audience and our general audience, we want to make sure that we also are investing in you all as leaders and volunteers in your local group. So we have some special, of course, leadership and service sessions. This is our kickoff day today. We're also going to have another service session specifically focused on volunteers and local group activities in September. And also, fingers crossed, we want to get together in person in October for a leadership training. And I know that Melody's working on breakout groups right now, so I don't know if she wants to multitask right now or if you want me to keep talking.
Yeah, you just keep talking.
Yeah. So 2 years ago, we were heading into fall, really wanting to do an in-person leadership day with you all in Middle Tennessee. And of course, things didn't exactly in the way that we were thinking in 2020. And we did that session via Zoom. It was actually a really good day. And then last year, we had more fun with our Smart Yard series that we did in the fall. So this is actually kind of the third year where we're going to do more in-depth focused volunteer day. And so what we're planning is for our Master Gardener coordinators to be able to visit in the morning, and then in the afternoon, this will probably be in Murfreesboro, we'll have a leadership day where volunteers from around the state can come, and we'll do a lot of those interactive leadership activities, talk about service, talk about how to build culture and connectivity within our local groups in person, live, and all of y'all will be invited to come. So we'll of course share more about times and all of that as we get closer, but that is going to be Thursday, October the 20th, somewhere in the vicinity of Middle Tennessee. This is the general update slide section. We have chapter 12 right now with our final steps of our designer, and those are going to be printed, and I'll work with your coordinators to get you all who are missing this chapter a new chapter for your handbook, as well as getting, of course, our new trainees their complete book in this year. So if this is my most frequent spring question, just so you know, January, February, March, I'm just going to have auto reply. We don't have chapter 12 done yet, but we will soon. And so we'll make sure that we get that to you. And for y'all who enjoy using the online section of the Master Gardener Handbook in the database, it will probably be on there even earlier. So fruit is on the way. We also have a few changes that we're going to make to our database, which we hope will make things easier for everybody. The yearly MOU, which some of y'all spend a whole lot of time, thankfully, getting paper copies, we want to have that be online. We're going to have a special box where, in addition to the hours, which are important, you'll also be able to share some personal stories and really kind of the real people side of the numbers that we collect. And we're also hoping to streamline our password reset a little bit. So even for people who cannot access their email, they will still be able to get the password reset because it'll be copied to their coordinator. So for those of you who are our crucial link as volunteers who help other volunteers with the database, we hope that all of these things will be able to make your life a little easier. I'm gonna turn the floor over to Anna here to tell you a little bit about some of the fun stuff that's going on with training, but also why that can be a benefit to you as a current Master Gardener.
So I hope that many of you have heard by now, if your group is participating in the collaborative training starting on Tuesday, or some people are doing it a little bit off that schedule, but starting here in a couple of weeks, that you're going to attend that first session. So if you're following the schedule exactly with us on Tuesday mornings, it's going to start this Tuesday. And that one doesn't have a Zoom. That one is all about connecting with your new interns in your county. So I hope that you're connecting with your coordinator and you are going to attend that to help welcome them and bring them on board with your group. So we also have some live distance sessions coming up. These are those ones that we're doing Tuesday mornings. So if you want to sit in with your group, like my group is basically like doing a watch party and then having a workshop afterwards, then my certified master gardeners are invited to all of those, any of those they want to come to, and counting some of them as CEUs. But then we know that there's a lot of great information and you guys will want to access that and see these great speakers, even if you can't make it on Tuesday mornings. So, or whatever day your county is doing. So these will be recorded and put on this website, and you'll have access to this after the training is over. So like this summer, you'll have access to this site where you can go and see everything that the interns got to hear this spring and see the information that went along with it. So that includes some Q&A that they're doing during the class and really getting to review all of that. And so hopefully we'll have that chapter 12 by then too, so you can jump in there with them on that.
All right. I don't know what we're going to talk about when we finally get the fruit chapter done. We're going to have to find some other statewide jokes. So we are now to the fun part of the session where we really want to break into groups and have the opportunity to have y'all connect with each other and talk about some of the things that are coming up for all of us. So I am going to let Melody kind of give us a little bit of a recap about how we're going to do this. We're going to have each of our work group members that are on the call kind of lead and facilitate a room. So Melody, send us off.
Okay, y'all. So we kind of want to use this in a sense as a needs assessment to kind of help guide us for some leadership components and some of our programming efforts as we move through 2022. So we really want your help and your feedback in this. So what I've done is divided y'all into 6 groups, and we are going to have groups 1 and 2 answer question 1. So group 1, Celeste will be facilitating that, and group 2, Evangeline will be facilitating that. Groups 3 and 4, you are going to be working with question number 2. So we'll have Anna working with group 3 and Jenny working with group 4. And then question number 3 there is going to go to groups 5 and 6. So group 5 will be facilitated by Natalie, and then group 6 by Sheila. And I have all of you broken down. There's about 22, I think, in each group. So again, your facilitators are going to know that questions, and we'll come back and kind of synthesize all that at the conclusion. So I'm going to go ahead and pop you into your groups. Just hit the button when it pops up to go join your room, and we'll bring you back in about how long are we staying in these groups, Natalie? I forgot.
About 15 minutes.
15 minutes. Okay. So you'll get a little time at the top of your screen, and we will see you in 15 minutes. Have fun.
We had so many great ideas. I was trying to write notes as fast as I could.
Oh, notes.
Oh, me too. And I ended up with like 10 little post-its everywhere. I'm like, I can't figure them out.
I didn't think about that. I was talking, not writing.
I have a page.
Well, then that's pretty cool. And that means we got lots of good things to share. So we want to take just a few minutes and synthesize, kind of boil it down. Celeste, you were group one. You want to share some of what your group discussed?
Sure, yes. So while I do have lots of detailed information here on these yellow Post-it notes, well, a broad overview, our group pointed out lots of the advantages that they saw associated with virtual learning and the uses of technology. It makes it a lot easier for some people, not all people, but some people to participate in our educational offerings. People appreciated the ability to see learn from a wider range, or say casting that net wider over our availability of speakers and hearing people from all across the state. Also seeing activities and gardens and horticulture things taking place at different areas. So that's, encouraged them to get out and see, actually go visit other Master Gardener projects and areas of the state. So we have lots of positives there, but then of course, positive always come with drawbacks. And so they realize the restraints that some technology can offer to our underrepresented audiences, and how it's important that we continue to try to intentionally reach those folks. Had lots of conversation about how we may be able to improve hybrid learning. So being able to teach educational sessions in person, but still offering that virtually or in a recorded version somewhere that can be accessed at a later time. That was of great importance. So those are things that we were doing out of need and doing the best that we could with them. But now it's time for us to intentionally get better at it. So that was kind of where we went with our whole discussion. And there's more here, but I don't want to hog all the time.
Wow, great synthesis. Evangeline, you want to add anything because you had the same question?
Yeah, definitely. And some of our conversation actually ended up bleeding a little bit into question 2 regarding pathways of communication. But there was a really good idea that we had by Michael, Mr. Michael. He was suggesting that we could even maybe have some sort of online list of different projects that Master Gardener groups across the state could put their project ideas. So that way, if there was a group that was looking for new ideas, they could say, what's a fresh idea? They could go on to this Google Drive and see the Excel sheet or whatever, and they could say, oh, wow, like this is something Hamilton County is implementing. This is something Ray County is doing. So I thought that was a pretty interesting idea. And then we just had some people who were, back to what Celeste said about Zoom. Some people said they had really enjoyed Zooms, especially in the winter months when it's dark and the weather's not great, and it's easier to log on to a Zoom rather than try and drive in the formidable weather in the dark and navigate your way through. So that was another good point.
Great. All right. So Anna was in group 3 and she had question 2, which is about communication. So Anna, what'd y'all talk about?
So just for day-to-day things, most folks are using email and they feel like that's pretty good. But what I really heard was a lot of folks are using some monthly newsletters just within their group that anyone can contribute to. They just know they have to get their information to whoever that person is. And they really like that, having that like roundup of local information once a month is really handy. So just keep everyone on track and involved in the know of what's going on without email floods. So we also would just really like the interaction and like the casual conversation that happens in these Facebook groups, whether it's the state one or they make local ones too. And so that way they can get connected, even so like in the past couple of years where they haven't really been able to meet each other as much. So they meet each other in these virtual spaces, which has been nice. We also talked about the hybrid thing. So we kind of blended into question 1 too, as much as they blended into ours. So we talked about the hybrid situation and just about making sure that we are being intentional about how we include our folks that may choose to stay on Zoom, even if we are meeting in person, just for whatever reason, and making sure that everyone feels included in the discussion. We also talked about engaging our folks some. So try to come up with ways, if we do go full virtual, like how do we engage with them outside of just the chat box or getting to know each other, because we need to make sure that they get connected to their local group and feel connected there. So the local group's taking on some opportunities there to meet with their interns and get to know them. Other than that, we just talked about just how important it is to be face-to-face or at least one-on-one. I see which group is this? I forgot which one. I wrote it down. But anyways, Bradley, they're making personal calls to folks that they have kind of dropped out of the association through the pandemic and whatever. So they're working to personally call these folks, which is great. So just have that old-fashioned phone call and be personal and just be a human. That's kind of what we got to.
All right, awesome. So Jenny had the same question as Anna's group in group 4. Jenny?
Right, and so we also kind of talked about most of the same subjects. Some of our group were really impressed with Facebook Live and specifically some of Celeste's activities, because she's kept us in stitches most of the time. Having our local Facebook pages updated so that we had current information and everything was available there to the people that actually access Facebook more often. There was a suggestion that we set clear expectations. And by that clarify what we mean by being involved and how do we define ongoing involvement so that our master gardeners that we have and our interns that are coming on understand what it means to be involved as a master gardener. There was a suggestion that we might create a video with master gardeners talking about their previous life and the things that they had accomplished during their lifetime, which would roll over into a lot of the master gardener activities. And a newsletter was brought up also, and several groups are using Service Monkey in order for them to keep connected and make comments. One of our master gardeners brought up the subject that we should be really careful, though, not to overwhelm some of our people with the technology, because there are some of our members that do not participate as often with email and with Facebook and some of the other things. So those would fall into the category that Anna talked about with some personal contact, personal phone calls and that sort of thing.
All right. Great job, group 4 and Jenny. Thanks for that. Now we move on to question 3, and Natalie's group had that about re-engaging our volunteers, getting back on track as we move maybe out of this pandemic.
Yeah. So we had some fun discussion, and just like some of our other reports back, I think we kind of got into some other group discussions. So some of the things that I was going to say have already been covered, which is awesome. So one of the things that I think that came out as we started talking about this was the interesting dynamic of what this reconnecting means, because we now almost have 2 different groups, right? Because we're now 1, 2, some people have 3. The amazing multi-year training in Hamilton County may have 4, so you have multiple intern classes. So you kind of have almost, 2 different groups that are used to interacting in different ways. I think the fun statement that somebody made was, you know what? We now have 2 years worth of people that have never been to a potluck dinner, right? So, they just have a different view of the program as previous folks. So, so we talked about, just the differences in those groups, and then ways that some of what we've seen with kind of hybrid meetings, and this has just come up, might be useful moving forward, right? So, so acknowledge that we're a little bit of ways from, all back in, but the opportunity to maybe continue to do hybrid business meetings, but really focus on trying to get people out to more outdoor sites and interactive activities that we may have, some of our younger folks that, don't want to drive in the evening just for a business meeting, but if we could get them to come to an in-person event, then that would be a really good time to integrate with the current folks. And then we did also talk a little bit about those outreach methods, some more personal communication to connect with people. And just like we were talking about with email, I know it's true for me. We're getting to the point of email overload. So phones, text, and a combination that's really designed to meet the needs of the people that we have. And I think maybe the last thing I'll say is that it was a really encouraging positive remark I think that Dixie made at the end as we were coming back, is that yes, it's been hard, right? And reconnection and getting people together in person, will legitimately probably be a challenge over the next few months. But don't forget that people love gardening information. There is more interest right now than there has been in decades, and that we have a great opportunity. Be safe, right? But be present, figure out how to get it done outdoors. There's an audience that's just really excited to partake in what it is that we do.
Outstanding. Great. So we're going to, last but not least, Sheila had group 6, and she had that same question that Natalie's group had. So Sheila, what did y'all's group discuss?
Well, we discussed we came up with a lot of the same conclusions that Natalie's group did. We had some great input. One of the things that our group is doing is they're doing follow-up calls. Just like Natalie said, we get overloaded with text, well, not text, but emails. And it just seems like sometimes people just need to have that personal touch. So one group is sending out phone calls to people who they haven't heard from. And then also they're planning an intern, at the end of the intern class, they're going to have a field day where they invite everybody to come. It'll be warmer, but they're inviting everybody, all the certified master gardeners, to join them. But that's something they're working toward. So that's going to get everybody involved. Another group is doing a mailing where they, when they haven't heard from some, well, they've sent it out to everybody, but they're actually, they've got a survey of, and they said stop, start, or continue programs. And so they've got their certified master gardeners participating that way. So it's not coming through email, it's coming through the mail. So that's another reach, trying to pull people back in. Let's see, another group is they're already having their meetings in person. And so and they're going to have their intern class come in person too. So that one is already starting to get that personal connection and pulling people back in. And I will write all this stuff down. So if I forgot anything that anybody said, I have it written. And then one last thing that Knox County is doing, I wish I'd thought of it, but I didn't, is they have a Caring Connections where we have advertised to our group, if you need help, then we will send out a team to come and help you. Excuse me. I got choked up. It was a little tear because I'm so proud of us. That we got, but they go out. We've had somebody who broke their wrist, and they've gone out to help them do cleanup in the, it's wintertime, so it's a little harder. There's not as many needs, but they've actually gone out and sent a different team out to help people that need some help. But once again, it's pulling those people that if they have a problem, they're more likely to pull away from master gardeners. Well, I've got a broken arm, I can't do anything, or I've fallen or whatever, but this pulls people back in. And so we're having some good luck with that. So that's I think it could be done on a small scale, but a big scale too. But that's all I have. We had some really good comments though. So thank you guys.
That is awesome. And wow, I mean, this is just where the heart of the organization is. It's the people, it's you as the volunteers, all these fantastic ideas. And I don't know if you saw it in the chat, but we are going to take all these, all 6 of us, in our state team meetings. We're going to synthesize all this information. We'll be utilizing this for our September Zoom, our October Leadership Day, but you'll see things come out of that out today, long before September. So no worries there. Natalie, I'm going to yield the floor back to you. Thank you everyone for your participation. Great kickoff to 2022.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for hanging with us for an hour and 15 minutes. Every time we plan one of these, we just say, hey, people will show up, we'll talk, it'll turn out fine. And this is even better than I imagined that it would be. So thank you very much for your comments and for your heart, and how much you care about the people in your local groups. So I'm just excited to jump into this next year with y'all. We will, we'll send out the recap. We may, who knows, we may have a little bit of recording this discussion at the end. It'd be kind of fun. So so we'll make sure that we get that out to everybody. And of course, you know, those of us on the work group here and the rest of our crew who wasn't here, if there's anything we can do to help y'all in the coming weeks and months, we look forward to it. And we'll keep in touch. Have a fabulous Friday, everybody. And we'll see y'all soon.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.